much once again for joining the afternoon session of the 2021 Virtual Conservation Careers Fair. My name is Mina, and this segment is one of the most exciting segments of them all. This is an opportunity for you to learn more about different conservation organizations that are working in conservation. And this afternoon, in this segment, we have Frankfurt Zoological Society. We will be talking to Gilbert Mwale, who is Community Outreach Manager, and later on we'll be joined by Changu Mazakaza. I hope I said that right. Changu is our project coordinator. Gilbert, thank you so much for joining us today. And Changu, thank you so much for joining us today as well.
It's an honor to be part of the showcasing.
Sure thing. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Mina.
Okay. We look forward to hearing all the great things that you will share with us today. We want to know more about FZS and the work that you do and what career opportunities young graduates and students should look forward to should they decide one day to work for FZS in Zambia. You can take it away now.
Sure thing. Thank you so much. Let me just share the screen right now so that you can follow through. Great. Yeah, I think my presentation will be very brief because there's a lot that we do, but I've tried to summarize this into just a few slides. Yeah, overall, yeah, we are Frankfurt Zoological Society. Yeah, this is the outline of my presentation. I'll just give a brief intro about the organization, then get into the programs that we have under Frankfurt. That's the North Luangwa Conservation Program and the Sumbu Tanganyika Conservation Program. Then we'll get into some of the activities, the career prospects, of course, that has brought everyone here today, and the catch, what I'm calling the catch. Yeah, so Frankfurt Zoological Society is an international conservation organization. It's based there in Frankfurt, Germany. So Frankfurt in Africa is in 5 countries. We've got it in DRC, we've got it in Zimbabwe, we've got it in Tanzania and Ethiopia, and of course here in Zambia. So here in Zambia, it works through 2 programs. That's the North Luangwa Conservation Program, which was established in 1986. So that's about over 35 years or 35 years to be exact. So we work in partnership with the Department of National Parks and of course the communities that live in the ecosystem. So NLCP or North Luangwa Conservation Program covers an area, combined area, that's the game management areas, as well as the national park of 22 square meters. So this is virtually untouched, pristine landscape. That's the North Luangwa National Park. With the Sumbu Tanganyika Conservation Program, this is the program mainly protecting the Sumbu National Park, and it covers over 4,000 square meters, that's including the game management areas. So for the North Luangwa Conservation Program, we have a mission of linking livelihoods and landscape. So this is a mission that we want to link different livelihoods or different activities that go on to the landscape, but to preserve its pristineness and its beauty, as well as its ecological services that it provides to us. So we're doing this through mainly 4 strategies that you can see in the pyramid there. That's the triple S, the triple Cs, and the triple Es. Then we've got the PCP. I wish we had the triple P as well there. Yeah, with the triple S, that's the structure, systems, and support. We're relying mainly or depending mainly on the building structures that last, that work. This is just not within the organization itself, but as well with the partners that we work with. And we believe that by providing these structures, these systems, and the support on the ground, we can build up to the top of the pyramid. What follows after is the communication, the connections, which result in lasting change. So we believe that with improved communication, improved connection to stakeholders, to partners, get everyone talking about the landscape and how to preserve it, we can have lasting change in these areas that we work in. Yeah, then as we climb up the pyramid, we get to the triple Es, which are the educate, to empower, and then we mix that with the enterprise aspect. So this is to educate not only the communities that we work with, the partners as well, ourselves, and we empower the most vulnerable within the communities and within our country as well. And that will bring a lasting and sustainable change within our landscape and our country. We support this as well together with the enterprise, because we believe for us to have a sustainable environment, the enterprise part must not be neglected. We were supposed to be able to provide economically for someone to survive. You can't just conserve without someone having that economical aspect as well. So all these three strategies will build up to the main big strategy of the protection, the conservation, and the preservation of our landscape in the area. Then the Sumbu Tanganyika Conservation Program is heavily dependent on the recovery, the development, and the protection of the Sumbu ecosystem. Yeah, with this area, I think when I started my conservation career, Sumbu National Park is one of the areas that was heavily or sort of getting into that depleted status. But with this program coming in, we're seeing that changing with the recovery efforts that are being made there. And one important point about the Sumbu Tanganyika Conservation Program, or NTCP, is that it's also got an aquatic component, which is the management of the Lake Tanganyika in collaboration with the Department of Fisheries and the community at large. So the communities were mainly focusing on the Sama and Pulungu communities. Then our focus areas as NLCP and NTCP. So our focus areas are ranger training, anti-poaching, wildlife monitoring, conservation education, CBNRM, human-wildlife interaction and incident management, and capacity building. I must mention that for the North Longwa Conservation Program, it's really a special program because it's one of the, given the history of the park itself and Zambia as well. This is one of the areas that has the last remaining population of black rhinos in Zambia. Around 1998, these animals were officially declared extinct, but with efforts from this program, they are coming back slowly. Yeah, with ranger training, we have been supporting the training of not only community scouts. We've been supporting the training of different community scouts within the area, and we can officially say that we are supporting over 400 scouts around the North Longwa National Park, with 115 receiving direct training from our program, and the rest being supported through the community resources boards. So we've been providing some support to the community resources boards or the communities on the ground. Then we have an activity for anti-poaching. This comes in different type of support. So we've got the REPO unit. This is a rhino and elephant protection unit, and the canine unit. With the REPO unit, this is a specifically trained group to protect rhinos and elephants within the national park. Then with the canine unit, as you can see from the pictures there, we've got canines that are specialized in sniffing out illegal wildlife products, or wildlife products in general, but such that are being smuggled out or that have been obtained illegal and are being transported from the national parks to a different area. So these dogs have been able to spot such illegal contrabands. Then we also carry out wildlife monitoring. So in the pictures here, you see a picture of a camera trap that's showing a hyena. And to the right, you can see an actual verification of fish species that are being harvested from Lake Tanganyika or the communities around that. That's under the NTCP. And the bottom picture there, I think somewhere there you can see Changu, who was part of that team trying to track animals within the national park. Then one important component of our programs is the CBNRM aspect. This is the community-based natural resource management. unit. So this unit or this department specifically deals with the people around the game management, around the national parks. These are the game management areas. We believe as an organization that you cannot have lasting conservation efforts without the inclusion of the people who live with these animals, or these who bear the cost of living with the wildlife, of living with the natural resources on the ground. So under this program, we work with the CRBs on the ground. We provide support for their governance system through trainings that you can see on the left there. We've got one of our senior conservation officers providing training for the community resources boards. And we also do in-field training for the village action groups on the ground, so that we have a strong system that comes from the bottom going to the top and not the other way around. Then we've also got a component of conservation education. This is a program that was targeting grade 6s, and I think grade 6 classes, and NTCP still is, but for the North Luangwa Conservation Program, this has evolved to also have a component of targeting the parents of these grade 6 children who are learning on the ground. So we do this in two ways. We've got what we're calling mini change groups, and we've got what we're calling conservation clubs. So conservation clubs are just clubs, extracurricular clubs for schools such as Chongololo, but we try to own that process with our own curriculum, and we've got conservation teachers on the ground that are helping us deliver this, as well as locally recruited staff. That's community conservation educators who are providing this curricula to the conservation clubs in the schools. They are also supporting the mini change groups. This is a group formed within the community by the parents and adults within the community that are willing to make a change, a conservation change within their communities. And we work with them, provide them, and give them that support that they need. So here in the picture, you can see pupils who have gone for a park visit and observing a rhino, though the picture is a bit blurry, but we have these field visits within the park so that they understand what conservation is all about. Then another important component is the human-wildlife interaction and incident management. Some people call this human-wildlife conflict, but we prefer to call it interaction because these people are living in areas with the animals. Not all animals are bad. It's just that sometimes these incidents will happen where there's a bad incident or a bad occurrence. So we're trying to show that not every encounter with an animal should be termed as a conflict, but it's an interaction. You're going to interact with an animal at some point. So we try to mitigate the negative incidents by providing some measures. We've got on your left here, we're looking at our senior conservation officer who's facilitating the building of what we're calling the elephant-proof grain stores, where community members can store their grain after harvest so that they're not eaten by wild animals or elephants or any other animal. Then in the middle there, we've got chili dung bricks, which are used to deter animals from fields during the planting season. So these are, once they are dried, it's a mixture of chili and elephant dung. And once it's dried, these are burnt within the field. Yeah, these are sometimes effective depending on the wind direction, of course, and where the animal will come from. But the communities or the people on the ground have learned how to use them, and they've been somehow effective. Then on the right there, we've got what we call as a chili bomber. So this is just a gun that is locally made with a ping pong ball that's filled with chili and some other mixture to deter animals from entering into crop fields. Then another important aspect is the enterprise side that I mentioned, which is supporting the livelihoods, or which is supporting the capacity building of the people on the ground. So we do this in various alternative livelihood methods, through various alternative livelihood methods. One of them is the supporting of community conservation banks, which are basically microfinance groups that get together or meet every week to save money. And once they have a large enough pot, they're able to collect loans from this group and start up their own eco-friendly or conservation-friendly businesses within their community. This has been one of the most successful undertakings of our organization as well. We've seen people save up every week and start their own goat rearing business just from this microfinance group. Then on the right there, we're also supporting beekeeping initiatives within the communities. So this has helped put a bit of extra income for the communities with where we work. Yeah, career prospects. I think this is the most interesting part for our audience, I think. Yeah, there are many opportunities to work with our organization, different roles that we have. Of course, there's an internship, I wouldn't say an internship program, but we do have interns that come in once in a while, depending on the need. So it's always good to drop an application here and there. You might be applying for, you might be picked to be part of the intern program that's in the area. Then conservation is broad, so we tend to add conservation to each of these titles. So we can say conservation intern or conservation driver, conservation mechanic. Yeah, we have a fully working workshop within our ecosystem, and there's a need for mechanics here and there who help out to service the vehicles that we use to go in the field and to get the work done around the national park. I must mention that we try to ensure that we do or we provide opportunities for the local communities as well in doing so. And these are the people who are bearing the cost on the ground, and we feel that they must benefit as well from the project, from the resources, from anything that comes from the national park. Yeah, we've also got community liaison assistants. These are local people who are recruited on the ground to help with the community outreach programs that happen around the North Luangwa ecosystem. And we've got community conservation officers. These are professionals that come from university and they are located within the field. They have to stay within the chiefdoms to build up that relationship with the communities and observe what's going on. And these are key to working with the community liaison assistants and build their knowledge and capacity as well as the communities on the ground. And we've also got senior community conservation officers, project coordinators, managers, GIS officers. We've got projects that have to do with land mapping. And so we hire technical staff such as the GIS officers. Then of course, we've got the finance and admin section, which includes the accountants, assistant accountants, procurement, the cashiers who fall under this department. Then we've got communications and media. You've probably seen our websites up as North Luangwa, some posts on Facebook that come up. So this is where staff will fall in. Then we've got a tourism manager who's assisting with community tourism camps around the North Luangwa National Park. This is coming in more on the enterprise side of things. And of course, we've got technical advisors who help review or who guide the different aspects of conservation, such as livelihood, law enforcement, governance, and others. And we've got grants officers and coordinators, as well as the directors. So conservation is broad. There are many career prospects that you can jump into. And I think as an organization, we cover these. So here, before I go to the catch, I can mention the picture there. This is our first mechanic who was recruited, our first female mechanic who's been recruited locally and training. So this is an organization that is really encouraging the women leadership and women empowerment on the ground. And the catch, coming to the big catch. If you are going to, say, apply to Frankfurt Zoological Society or North Luangwa Conservation Program or the Sumbu Tanganyika Conservation Program, away from the official technical qualifications, we feel that you must have a drive, you must have a passion. You must have a passion for conservation so that you'll be able to work in these remote areas. Otherwise, go run back to Lusaka where you find the good moles. Yeah, you must be self-driven, and you must have a heart for the community and the people who you find on the ground. You have to have that good relationship. Yeah, so thank you for attention. I think that's what I had for you today regarding Frankfurt Zoological Society.
Thank you so much, Gilbert. I have had a lot to take away from this session. I really liked your presentation. I can see that FZS is doing a lot as far as capacity building is concerned and encouraging coexistence between human beings or local communities and wildlife. That's a mouthful, a lot to really think about. I really like that you put up a list of the careers that people could should look forward to, and it's very, very comprehensive. It's got so many positions or so many options that people can pick from. I like the last picture. I'm afraid that's my favorite, and no, I'm not being biased. Your first female mechanic, that is amazing. Not only can you work as a mechanic in conservation, but you can be a woman and be a mechanic in conservation. That is really great. Do we move over to you now, Changu? You have a number of questions. Hi, Changu, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Sorry, my network's a bit unstable.
No worries. Thank you so much for making time again. So the first question, obviously, we've been getting this for every organization and every speaker. This shows that there are a lot of young people out there that are interested to work with different organizations. So there's a question about volunteering and internships at FZS. Do you have any volunteering opportunities now, in the future? Is there a program, any volunteer or internship opportunities?
At the moment, when it comes to North Luangwa Conservation Program,
Hi, Tango. I'm afraid we've lost you. We can't hear you.
Every 3 months at least, hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can get you now.
Sorry about that. Okay, so we do have those programs for North Luangwa Conservation Program. We accept interns. It's just one intern at a time in a space of 3 months. And then for Nsumbu Tanganyika Conservation Program, we do get once in a while, but it's not as frequent as North Luangwa. And the voluntary basis, yes, we do that as well. So please feel free to apply.
Okay, great. So you heard it here. Feel free to apply. And I think Gilbert also brought that up. It doesn't hurt to drop an application once in a while, just so you are kept in mind should an opportunity arise. There's also another very interesting question here. So how effective has the conservation education been?
Sir, let me take that out. Let me speak for Nsumbu. So in our case right now, we are working with 5 schools within the area of Nsumbu. And so far, you do find even the younger kids, like in the grade 5s, they are really trying to work hard to reach at the level of grade 6. So it just hasn't worked for the grade 6 to pay attention with conservation and learn more. It's also contributing to the younger ones, trying to work hard until they reach that level whereby they can also do the park visits, and then they can learn more about what's actually happening around in terms of conservation. So you do get kids around, they would actually say like, no, we learned this today, we learned that today, even when they're just mingling with their friends. So at least it's spreading out there, because in the schools that we haven't yet started teaching them on conservation education, we do have them saying that, when are you going to come to our schools? When are you going to teach us? So at least it's created that passion for the kids to say, we really want to learn more about conservation. So overall, it is working well and really expanding well.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Changu. And I hope whomever asked that question got their answer. Now, I'm going to have to throw this to Gilbert, or if you have any feedback on this. Someone is asking, you recently advertised for various positions. I sent in an application letter and I have not heard back. How long should I wait, or how long does it take before you can get back, or how long do you take before you can shortlist your candidates?
Sure. I think I think we should have added that with the applications that we sent out. It's unfortunate we didn't give a timeline for when to expect feedback, but we haven't done the shortlisting yet. Probably that's why nobody has heard back from us yet, and we'll be doing that shortly. But we did mention within the application that only the shortlisted candidates will be contacted. So I think the waiting time would be about, if you applied, if the deadline passed, then 3 weeks after you haven't heard back from us, then you're not successful, unfortunately. But if you're successful and you're shortlisted, you'll be contacted. Yeah, we should have put that within our application.
Thank you so much for that. You see, this is why we have platforms such as these. You get to talk to the people behind the conservation work, the people on the ground. And according to your list, there's so many options that people could pick from. Personally, I am excited to see so many positions, so many people that have probably nothing, probably no conservation background, have successful careers in conservation. I'm still on about that fact, and I'm really excited about that. I think our last question for this session, because of time, obviously, is: are there any invasive species in your areas of work? And also, how do you handle how do you generally handle invasive species? Anyone can answer. I see Chango is struggling with the internet. So Gilbert, it's just you and me now.
For Nsumbu, no, we don't. On the aquatic side, we don't have any cases yet. And even on the thing, when it comes to the national park, we don't have any cases. So I hope we never have in the future, but for now, we don't have any invasive species.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Do both of you have any last words for the young students out there, the young Zambians, anyone aspiring to work as a project coordinator or as community outreach manager? I'll start with Changu and then go to you, Gilbert.
Okay, so the only thing I can say out there, you shouldn't be demoralized when you try to apply, you don't get a job. You've done tons of applications. I would say something. I completed in 2017 and recently got the job in 2021. Wasn't an easy thing, but what I can just say, perseverance is the key thing. And it doesn't matter with the experience. Don't be intimidated when you see a job advert saying we need 3 years experience, we need one. Sometimes people advertising for those jobs just want to see the confidence that you have as a person to go ahead to say, okay, I do not have the experience, but let me give it a go and it will be a learning process for me. So please always keep applying and don't be demoralized no matter how many applications you throw. Just one day you might have that call saying you've been given the job. So yeah, just keep going.
Thanks, Chango. Gilbert?
Yeah, I think just in addition to what Chango has said, for me, it's being mindful or being strategic with your applications. Yeah, if you want to go for a career, go for a career. If you want to go for a job, go for a job. These are two different things. If you are going to apply for a career, you must show it in the way that you're living each and every day. This means that you must manage your social media correctly. If you're a conservation expert or you're trying to be a conservation expert, you should align yourself to being a conservation expert in everything that you do. This will be in form of just the way you're living. If you're recycling, if you're showing that you're doing your contribution to the environment, to the world at large, I think that's how you start building a career. It's not just about getting the job, then you say, I'm in a conservation career. It's also about the way you're living and the way you're portraying yourself and your image around. So yeah, make a decision. Do you want a job? Do you want a career?
Thank you so much to both of you. You heard it here. Chango says, do not be demoralized, and Gilbert says you need to be strategic. Thank you both for joining us today. We've come to the end of our session, and we wish you all the best in your careers, and we hope to hear more from you in the near future.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.